Hello everyone, the Kentucky Patriot here. Wish you guys the best. Hope you and your families are doing well. Uh, Recently, we just took a trip to Florida, my wife and kids and family, and we thought about maybe doing a video of kind of our activities, fishing or hiking the Seminole Trail, or the boat ride, or whatever we were doing. But then I thought about this, and maybe it would be a little more beneficial. Maybe it'd help you a little more. And again, I don't try to claim to be a know-it-all, but I would like to. It's kind of popped in my mind about traveling and the threats that maybe could potentially arise, or try to stay safe. And really, that's what it's all about: is keeping you and your family safe. But we had a great time, and I still may throw some of the still shots in there. And because we did have a wonderful trip, love Florida, beautiful weather. The sun was shining. The people down there are super. Man, the area we was in was around Seminole, St. Pete, Largo area, and the businesses, the restaurants, everything was just a class act. So I don't want to sound like I'm talking negative about Florida, but this doesn't really have anything to do with Florida. This is anywhere you're traveling, whether it be for work, vacation, the sickness in the family of travel. It doesn't matter. This kind of pertains to all of it. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys. I'm telling you, I've got to meet you, some of you, and just be friends with some of you over just the comments. And I have met some of the most wonderful people. So 99% of you guys are just wonderful, and I thank God for each and every subscriber, every viewer. So I don't want to come off as arrogant or anything, but if your comment is hurry up and get to the point, or you talk too much, I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful, but this channel is probably not going to be for you, because I don't want this to be a lecture or just read off 10 points. I don't even have anything written down, rehearsed. I just really want this to be a friend to friend, a neighborhood, a buddy stopped by and sit on the porch with me, or a friend from high school stopped by. I really want that kind of environment. And like I said, this isn't a lecture. This isn't a hurry up, just give you the information. I'll try my best, but sometimes I do digress or get on different topics. But I hope this will help you and kind of maybe plant some seeds in your mind, because I want to tell you an experience that happened with us a few years ago, and then I will kind of tell you my thoughts, opinions, tips, what I do, because really it's all about keeping you and your family safe, keeping me and my family safe, and maybe I'll throw in a few tips and ideas to maybe help you if you travel, to maybe look out for, to avoid any snares or trouble. But my dad's cousin had I call it a cabin, but it was a house. It was huge. It's a lot bigger than the house that I live in, down in Tennessee. And it had, it looked like one of those log house types, but it had a huge basement, full-size basement with a bedroom down there, a hot tub in the basement. It had a bath. I mean, several families could stay there. The first floor was huge. The second floor had a loft and a pool table, and we always enjoyed vacationing down there. Well, since then he sold it; he no longer owns it, but he would rent it out to family and friends, people he knew. He didn't do it to the public because he wanted to make sure that the people he knew were his friends of people he knew, so that way they'd take care of his stuff, which is totally understandable. Well, what he'd do though, he didn't live there. He lived here in Kentucky, but he would have cleaning services come in and clean the house. Like a maid service. Make sure all the towels and linens and sheets and the hot tubs were cleaned, and the kitchen was clean. Everything was clean. The dishes were done and all that. And over the years, he'd switch companies, and and it's not necessarily the company's fault, because it's hard to keep good help. You know how it is. So there's nothing even toward those cleaning companies. But what had happened over the years is he'd give the cleaning companies the alarm code to his panel there, so they would come in, turn off the alarm, and clean and set it when they leave. So we were on vacation down there, and just like the alarm system at my house, or probably at your house, you can have it set up where if the alarm goes off, the monitoring company will call you. Well, I was with my wife and kids, matter of fact, at Dollywood, and he calls and says, are you all at the cabin? And we're like, no. And he said, well, the alarm's going off. Did you all trip it accidentally? No, we're here at Dollywood, so it wasn't us. So we said, okay, I'll call the police. So he called the police. And of course, it was a few hours before we even got back. So by the time we got back, there was no forced entry. Okay, so it wasn't like a random burglar. Somebody had somehow access to that front door, and when they got to the panel, they put in the code, but thankfully the code had changed. And it's always smart, if you do own property like that, to change that from time to time, because that's what happened. Then the alarm went off, they split. So it's probably just petty thieves. Probably somebody told their boyfriend or their girlfriend the code. Somebody's probably got fired, disgruntled employee. But long story short, my wife and kids wasn't there. It's probably just petty thieves, but it could have been. It could have been more serious than that if we would have been there. Who knows? They's probably just wanting to run through the house and see if we'd left an iPad or a phone or some money laying around, or my wife's purse, because sometimes people will do that. They'll leave their purse behind. Just the husband will take his billfold because they're sitting there carrying it around all the time, or or if they're riding water rides, don't want to get it wet, or whatever the case may be. But that happened. We went back, and there was no breaking and entering, nothing major. But what I'm telling you is, when you go to a house, whether it's a rental house on the beach, whether it's a rental house or a cabin in Tennessee, or whether it's a motel room, I think a lot of times people have a false sense of security, thinking it'll never happen to me, or I'm secure, or I've locked the door. Well, the truth is, most of those locks have multiple people that can access them, and they're very easily defeatable. So, having said all that, that's what kind of maybe spurred this video or whatever. And I was going to talk about traveling too, but I'm not actually going to talk about traveling. I may save that for another video when we actually do the holsters with the video. The gun holsters, or the car holsters, or the knife holsters with my vehicles that I told you I'd try to make a video with. So I'm going to try to save that for there. This is more when you're in your dwelling, or if you leave your dwelling or whatever, like again, whether it's a motel, a house, a chalet, whatever the case may be. But don't take for granted that you are secure, okay? And again, I don't want you to think that we're talking paranoid. If you're the rustling around with my little puppy, she like this, I mean, she can't be more than 2 inches from me, so that includes the videos. But anyway, don't necessarily think that everything is safe and secure, because there are a lot of good people. But like I said, it only takes one scoundrel or lowlife to ruin your day and ruin your vacation. So basically, just a few little things to take maybe into consideration is, I'm going to use maybe a motel for example first, is pay attention to your surroundings, especially if you're traveling alone, male or female, but especially female. Because somebody can seem innocent, like they're going to their motel room too. But when you're female, when you slide that card in, when you start to go in the door, the next thing you know, they come in behind you, they shove you in, and bad things can happen, okay? So pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to somebody's following you. Pay attention to how close they are. Situational awareness is key. And again, I don't want you to think we're paranoid or trying to, to make situations seem more dire than what they are. That isn't the case. But just staying vigilant and sober. We just want you to have a good day. Now, once you're in the motel room, and I'll tell you what we do. Let's say we're staying in the motel. The deadbolt's key. Make sure you lock that deadbolt. The deadbolt's really key, because I'm going to be honest with you, these little chains up here, or those little clasps that has this kind of goes like this, and it kind of just folds over, those can easily be defeated by a common thief. Those are so easy. With a little tool, you can defeat them. The chain, you can about push. There's a little tool, you can open that door just like that. You'd be surprised at the people that has an access code to your room. So what we do, there's a couple things you can do. What I always like to do is set a chair up. And again, this isn't an impenetrable fortress, but what this is it buys me time. Let somebody knows they're coming, because people can use that little tool and use a key card and get in your door really quick. And if you're sound asleep, you may not hear it, you may not be aware. So what this does is it alerts you to something's going on over here. There's also, and they're very cheap too, you can buy them. I personally don't have them, but if I traveled a lot, I would certainly look into it. I mean, they're cheap, like $30. and it's basically a wedge shaped and just battery operated. So what happens when somebody opens that door, it rises up on that wedge, pushes it down, and an alarm sounds. It's not a big alarm, but it's you've probably heard of it. It's a digital alarm that's very loud and piercing. It lets you know, hey, somebody's coming. If you don't have anything like that, what you can do, if it's a tile or a hardwood floor or some kind of I don't know whatever the case may be, hardwood, laminate, tile, any kind of hardwood floor, what you can do is stack a couple glasses up, or wine glasses, or drinking glasses, or anything the motel may have, or some kind of coffee cups, and you can kind of stack them up in like to a 2 or 3 high, right in front of the door. So that way, when that door opens, it's going to hit them and knock them over. That's a little more than I really would like to do. I'd rather have a chair. Sometimes your motel don't have a chair and you have the hardwood floor. That just also will alert you. And the other thing, if you're sharing a room with somebody, like, the 2 doors, do the same thing with that door. Because, sometimes you'll have a door here and a door here, and you may not know those people that are staying beside you on this side. It's also good to watch that entry point. Also, keep a gun close, as we always say, right there on your nightstand, just in case when somebody does come in, you want it to be a bad day for them, not a bad day for you. And especially if you've got kids or you're traveling alone, you certainly want to be vigilant there. Parking lots, and guys, I know most of you are good, down-to-earth people. That I'm so blessed for the people that watch this channel. You're just wonderful people, but I'm gonna be honest, there's some where their egos kind of gets in the way, and I'm all for freedom. I'm the most patriotic. I love this country. I love freedom. But guys, just because you have the right or the freedoms to do things still doesn't mean it's always a good idea. And people will think, well, ain't nobody gonna tell me where I can't go. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what I can't do. I'm gonna go where I please, and it's good to have freedom. But guys, you still want to use wisdom, because just because you can walk down a certain alley at night, by yourself, you don't want to puff out your chest and prove how tough you are. There's just no need for that. Okay, so if you want to take the longer route, it's a safer route. Kind of watch where you're walking. If you're walking through alleys or something, where corners could be, especially when the night falls and the sun begins to go down, because there are people that just prey on unsuspecting tourists or unsuspecting people that are just easy prey and easy victims, and that's what you don't want to be. Parking lots are also a bad place. And then if you stay at houses or chalets or cabin rentals or whatever, people feel more secure. But I do the same thing there with the chair. If you have an alarm, always set the alarm. That's just I'm baffled at the people even around where I live that have alarm systems in their homes and never set them. Guys, it's only there to help you. So if you stay in one of those houses, set an alarm. Make sure the locks of the doors and windows are all secure. Check them. I do. I always go through, and first thing I do when I go somewhere, I check all the entry points. I check all the exits. I see how secure they are, and if they're not secure that I think they ought to be, then I will go and, like I said, whether it's a chair, there's all kinds of adjustments. You can use all kinds of little tools, ropes, belts, strings, all kinds of little devices that will alert you. You can hear, see, especially on a multi-level house like I was telling you about my dad's cousin. There's entry points from the basement through the garage. There's entry points, several sliding glass doors around the living room, the dining room, the kitchen. It was a huge area. Not only the front door, but you had all these sliding glass doors. And then you had the attic, which the loft with the entry points would have been very, very difficult. But still, it's not above somebody to use a ladder or something, because there's been instances where people didn't lock their second story or third story building, think, nobody's going to be around here. But if they can grab a ladder and that door's unlocked, you can't ever underestimate the mind of a bad guy, what they're liable to do, what they're capable of doing. Walk with a group. I mean, it's never a good idea to say, hey, I'm going to run here and go out to my car by myself at night. If you're at the beach or something, you leave something in your car, have somebody walk with you. Oh, I'm a grown man, I'll do what I want to do. Well, I mean, even if you're capable of defending yourself, whether physically or with a gun, if it comes to that confrontation, it's going to ruin your vacation. It's going to ruin your time. Even if you come out unscathed, the bad guy has the bad day. Still, there's going to be police reports. You may have to spend the night in jail. You may have to get an attorney. Even if there's no criminal, you may have to be worried about civil. And I'm telling you, you don't want ruin your vacation with things that can potentially happen. And the confrontation, sure, we want to be ready with guns and knives. You've watched this channel, we talk about that all the time, but the thing of it is, you don't want to come to that. Trust me. Sun Tzu in The Art of War said, it's not somebody that wins every battle that's supreme excellency. Supreme excellency is winning without ever having to fight at all. And that's what we're looking at. If you never have a confrontation and you never have a trouble, that's supreme excellency. That's what we're looking for. So whether you're traveling for work or whatever the case may be, don't put yourself in a vulnerable situation where you start looking around and now you're surrounded by a couple of bad guys, and now you're in an alley, or now you're in a hallway by yourself, and things can escalate, things can happen, things can nobody's going to intimidate me, I'm going to do what I want attitude is just going to get you in trouble. I'm telling you, I don't care if people think I'm a wimp, or I'm not macho, or I'm not strong, or I'm not tough. If I can avoid it, I'm telling you right now, I will avoid it every time. Because look, I'm just there to have a good time. I'm just there to travel with my family. I'm just here to enjoy life. And like I said, when you have a house with an alarm system, or a cabin that you think, well, we're secure here, but yet that alarm went off while we were there. We happened to, be at Dollywood, but while we were staying there, that alarm went off. And, that, like I said, those people could have been just petty thieves, or they could have been looking for trouble. Who knows? But these things do happen. Those peak holes are always, and I had a woman tell me this one time, and thank God nothing happened, but somebody knocked at the door, and she looked through the peek hole and didn't see anybody. So she opened the door to see who it was. Guys, don't do that. Please don't do that. Pay attention. Thank God nothing happened, but there's a lot of tricks. They can pretend to be a lot of things, but always keep a gun close. Mashad Ayub had a really good point. Your sheets on your bed, don't leave them tucked in. Tuck them out. So if you need to throw the covers off and jump up, whether it's a fire, whether it's an intruder, whatever the case may be, you've got easy access. So especially when you're traveling, don't have the sheets tucked up tight under you. You want to be able to easy access to get in and out. If you got a sliding glass door on your balcony, make sure it's secure. And that's another thing. We stayed at another house in Tennessee on Douglas Lake. And again, I always check the points when I go in to see, and they had a huge sliding glass door, and those little locks can be defeated, just about with your little finger. So never trust those little locks. If you have a big broom handle, a big stick, piece of wood to go behind it, then that really becomes a secure lock. The problem was they had nothing. And when I went to pull on that lock, it's a beautiful, beautiful home, beautiful rental that overlooked Douglas Lake. But I'm not kidding. You could take that, and that door would slide, and it would crack open, and that lock was barely latched on there. So we had to definitely work on that, because you don't want that standing between you and your family. Somebody could defeat that lock. And I think people are really have a false sense of security when it comes to locks, really how easily they are defeated, whether it's a physical defeat or a pick lock, whatever the case may be. Watch your valuables, if at all possible. Keep your valuables with you. Don't leave them in the motel. Some of them's got safes. You can trust them if you want to. I still don't. It's not the safe, it's who all has access to that safe. They say nobody else does, but I'm telling you, we're living in a day and time when criminal minds are always on the move, and they're smart and they're cunning. Try to keep stuff with you as much as you can. If you have to have it somewhere, just use your mind, okay? And let me tell you this, and this is just a little bit off subject, but it kind of makes the same point. You have to be smarter than as criminals and society changes and masterminds improve. It might have been okay in the 50s and 60s. It's not now. In your home, do not leave your key under your doormat. Guys, don't do it. That you're just asking for trouble. Don't leave it under a flower pot. You have to be, I know in 1950 you could do that, no problem. In 1960 you could do that, no problem. That way if you locked yourself out of the house, well, now you have to be a little bit smarter, not only at home but abroad. Whether you're traveling, a short trip, overnight stay, or a week, I want everything to go good for you. So pay attention to your surroundings as you're walking around, as you're looking. and trust your gut. I mean, it's not that you're a coward. Don't let anybody say, oh, you're a coward if you don't. Trust your gut. If you don't feel right about walking in a certain situation, or that certain side of the parking lot looks dark, or there's some guys standing around that, just doesn't seem right, hey, just go around another way. So what if you have to circle the block? So what if you have to walk a little bit out of the way? Your safety is more important than your ego, okay? Not saying that you guys have an ego. I know I've got some of those down-to-earth people I've ever met on here, and I appreciate you. But I want to keep you and your family safe. So like I said, I'll try to throw a few pictures in here along the way. But I just wanted to kind of give you some tips when you're staying and when you're dwelling, somewhere besides your own home. Your home is your castle, but when you're staying at a motel, it's not as secure as your house. When you're staying in somebody else's rental place, who else has access to that place? And there's a lot of creeps, and there's a lot of rapists, and there's a lot of muggers, and there's a lot of even human trafficking now is a real thing. And if you've got kids, you need to stay vigilant. You need to stay sober, and just keep these things in the back of your mind. Like I said, I don't spend all day fortifying my motel or whatever. But when you go in, just make a couple quick glances. Just kind of look at your the door locks. Look at the security system. Look how the things are set up. And hey, if you have to move a table, if you have to move a recliner, if you have to move a chair, if you have to move something in front of the door, and people say, well, what are you going to do in the fire? I can move it quick, and I can move it out quick. So just kind of pay attention. Be vigilant, be sober, and like I said, there's probably a lot of other things that I missed that I meant to get to, but I don't want to make this video too long. I'll tell my wife I'll make a quick video, like 10 minutes, and it'll be 30 because they're 25. I enjoy this channel. I really enjoy you guys, and I really want you guys to prosper and do well. I wish the very best for each and every one of you and for your families, and especially I know Pro Carry Trucker and a lot of you guys are on the road all the time. And you say, well, I've been safe for all these years. It only takes one time. So you guys that are traveling a lot for work, for business, for your truck driver, whatever the case may be, if you're on vacation, just stay safe. Take a minute to kind of look around. Keep an eye on your family. And kind of scout out the area too. If you know some people there, kind of find out where the good places in town, the bad places, and just do our best to enjoy life, have a good time, come back home safely. And I hope this helps. I appreciate you. If you would, it means a lot to us. Like, share, and subscribe. We've got a lot of videos coming. Hopefully, Lord willing, like I said, more about travel with cars and weapons and knives and guns and more of the self-defense stuff. But for this video, just kind of beware when you're traveling and, just stay on top of things. And I want you and your family to be safe at all costs. A little prevention is worth so much more than if you do have to rely on some of your self-defense techniques, because avoidance is the key. May God bless you. Wish you and yours the very best. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below. For anything I missed, anything you want to add, some things that you do, some tips or tricks that you got up your sleeve that you'd like to let us know, please feel free to leave in the comments below. Keep it family friendly. May God bless you. The Kentucky Patriot, signing off.